Continuation of the previous video, the homecoming. But the holidays would not come till October. There was a long time till to wait. One night, on his way back from school, Pathik had a bad headache with a fit of shivering. Fit of shivering means short period of uncontrollable shivering. Okay? He felt he was going to have an attack of fever. His great fear was that he would be a nuisance to his aunt. More than the fever attack, his great fear was that he would be a nuisance to his aunt. The next morning, Pathik was nowhere to be seen. The rain had been pouring all night, and those who went out in search of the boy got drenched through to the skin. Thoroughly wet. At last, Bishambar asked for help from the police. What happened next? At the end of the day, a police van stopped at the door. It was still raining when two constables brought out Pathik and placed him before Bishambar. He was wet from head to foot, muddy all over his face and eyes flushed red with fever. Bishambar carried him in his arms and took him in. When his wife saw him, she exclaimed, "What a lot of trouble this boy has given us. Hadn't you better send him home?" So again, she was showing her anger to Pathik. Okay, she said, "What a lot of trouble he is giving to us. Why can't you send him home?" She said this to Bishambar. Pathik heard her words and sobbed out loud, "Uncle, I was just going home, but they dragged me back again. The fever rose very high, and all that night the boy was delirious, continuously talking in an anxious way, especially because you're ill." Okay, that's the meaning of delirious. Bishambar brought in a doctor. Pathik opened his eyes and said vacantly, "Uncle, have the holidays come yet?" Bishambar took Pathik's burning hand in his own and sat by him through the night. Burning hands is not literally burning, it's because of high body temperature. Okay. The next day, Pathik became conscious for a short time. He turned his eyes about the room, as if expecting someone to come. At last, with an air of disappointment, his head sank back on the pillow. He turned his face to the wall with a deep sigh. Bishambar knew his thoughts and, bending down his head, whispered, "Pathik, I have sent for your mother. I've sent the information to your mother. She is on her way." Okay? So, Pathik was expecting his mother. He was longing to see her. That's why he was looking at the door. So what happened next? The day went by. The doctor said in a troubled voice that the boy's condition was critical. That is, he was so ill that he might die. The next day, Pathik's mother burst into the room. She saw Pathik lying unconscious on the bed. He was tossing from side to side and mumbling continuously under his breath. She began to cry in a loud voice. Bishambar tried to calm her, but she flung herself on the bed and cried, "Pathik, my darling, my darling." So seeing this condition of her son, the mother, she started to cry uncontrollably. No one could control her seeing that. Okay, but Bishambar was trying to calm her, but she flung herself on the bed and she started to cry and she said, "Pathik, my darling and my darling." Okay, and the boy, he was continuously mumbling. Okay, because he was so ill and he started to mumble by himself. Pathik stopped his restless movements for a moment. He said, "Oh." The mother cried again, "Pathik, my darling, my darling." Pathik very slowly turned his head and with unseeing eyes said, "Mother, the holidays have come." So why did Pathik say, "Mother, the holidays have come"? Why did he say that line? Pathik was suffering very deeply in Calcutta. He felt unloved and unwanted. Isn't it, children? For the longest time he had wanted the holidays to come so that he could go home to his village, where he was loved. Then he had fallen critically ill and depressedly wanted to see his mother. When she arrived in Calcutta, it was Pathik's last wish had been fulfilled. He was at home just as he would have been on his holiday. That's why he said that, "Mother, the holidays have come." So finally, Pathik has died. Okay? So this story is by Rabindranath Tagore. 1861 to 1941 was a freedom fighter, a writer, and an educator. He was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1913. Tagore was interested in children and their education. He was interested in developing their personality to the best of their abilities. They are the characters in his stories that we empathize with most. Thank you, children.